this is a time when we're seeing significant change in the world. And so I'd like you right now to just sit back and relax, take a breath. I'm going to make all these slides available to you. We are going to cover a lot of information, so I am going to leave a little bit of time at the end to have questions, because we're going to talk about some concepts here, not just straight facts. So try and just relax and take notes of things that you want to talk about at the end when we get there, and just try and take all this in. So we really are at the next great shift of consciousness, as I see it. And we can see the changes happening all around the world, really at the speed of the internet. This global shift that is driving us from an era of our left brain, primarily being high-tech information society driven towards formulations, and you understand the left side, to this creative side where we're going to start using it when the world needs the creative healers are needed and valued more than ever. So that's good news for everybody in this room, right? Because I don't think there's any left brains in here, right? We're all right brains? Yay, yes, that's right. But what is this conceptual age really, and what's driving it? We've been from the industrial age to the information age, and entrepreneurship was always the root that made us different than any other country, quite frankly, in the world. And while America has led the way in conceiving concepts from developing systems, from Henry Ford to Bill Gates, there's always been this underlying creativity that has made us different. Today, we're living in a world where there are many more people who have access to our formulas, and they are able to achieve the outcome simply by copying and implementing our processes. We've already created the program, now it just needs to be used and implemented. For example, if you take India, if only 15% of the population of India focused on computer technology or filmmaking, that would be as though the entire United States did just that. Which might explain why all the call centers for support are based in India, right? Or why they are producing more movies and video games today than Hollywood is. So this idea of a smaller world and more people having access to our information, able to learn from it, move forward with it at a far lower cost than what happens in the United States, is what led Daniel Park, who is a best-selling author, he's a trend tracker and previous speechwriter for the White House, to coin the phrase conceptual age. I think we're really just starting to hear that word. And have you heard that word before? Have you heard that concept before today? Anybody? You have. Did you read Daniel Pink?
I've heard of him.
Amazing book. Yeah, he's got several amazing books. But anyway, that's kind of what the conceptual age is. When we look at the left side of our brain, it's dealing with facts, figures, definitive formulas for specific outcomes. Using more of the left side is what built our machines, our software, our programs, our products, while the right side of the brain is our dreams, it's our creativity, it's where we say what if, and it's what gives us the courage to try things that haven't been tried before. What drives American entrepreneurship is this ability to imagine, to dream, and to create without fear, asking that what if. Now certainly our left brain did some great things. We created a lot of really smart products, from the immense chemical products that we have, to our computers, to our iPhones. A lot of amazing things have happened in the last decade. I don't need to repeat any of that to any of you. But more recently, what we've been seeing is a lot of those scientists who developed our chemical products then started looking at things and asking themselves a little bit of the what if, and started realizing that maybe we didn't know everything that Mother Nature held, and started looking at some of the ways in which we could take some of the products, some of the derivatives from nature, and add them to our chemical products. That's what we're seeing today, primarily in skincare, right? A lot of chemical-based products that have nature-derived ingredients, mostly extracts, added to them to make those products better. Very sophisticated chemical products with extracts from nature. That's today. Many of us are using those products today, but that may not be the future. And the reason it may not be, according to Daniel Pink, is 3 words: abundance, Asia, and automation. Now, how is that going to change the way we use that? Abundance is really the satisfaction and the oversatisfaction that we have created from our material needs from millions of people all around the globe. It's boosting the significance of beauty and emotion and accelerating our search for meaning. Does that resonate with any of you? Okay, I'll say it one more time because it's really a big idea. It's because of abundance, the abundance that we currently live in this country for sure, and most of the world now, has satisfied and really even over-satisfied our basic material needs. Okay? Now, we're not so worried about those basic needs. Now we're looking for the significance of the beauty, of the emotion, and accelerating our real search for meaning in life. The Asia is really focused primarily on India, and that's really, they're taking almost every white-collar job in America that has to do with formulations, and it's happening in India today. So that's the Asia effect. And then the automation. I mean, if there's something you do that a computer can do faster or better, you're probably obsolete today, right? I mean, that's not the time. I mean, there was a day when that worked in the 70s, but we're past that. So as our economy shifts and our lifestyle shifts, the changes that we're all looking for is a better way, right? We're all asking, not looking just for the facts, but searching for that feeling, that sense of well-being that we all really want. So there's an intuitive mind that's really starting to look at this and say, our left brain is still necessary, for sure, but it's no longer sufficient. Just as parts of the world looked to America for our technology, our science, America began to look at other parts of the world. Only we had much older cultures to examine. And as we tried to seek answers and the knowledge, from the knowledge that had been developed over tens of thousands of years in these cultures, right? Many of them obviously older than our country, we're discovering our own innate knowledge that we all hold in our core, things that we know that we haven't been taught. We're looking at that bigger picture, a picture beyond what can be learned, and as a result, a new brand of products began to emerge. It was Nutraceuticals and Cosmeceuticals. We've created really interesting high-class names for these, but they're basically very ancient concepts. So what are they? The actual definition of nutraceutical is up there. It's a food or part of food that provides the medical or health benefits, including the prevention and treatment of disease. Now that definition was written in 1989 by Dr. Stephen DeFleece, and it was meant to really further define and differentiate the difference between a nutraceutical and a supplement. It's not a tablet, it's not a pill, it's not a vitamin, it's an actual food that provides the health benefits and prevention as would a pharmaceutical. Okay, the cosmeceutical wasn't far behind that. That was the creams, lotions, serums that we used topically that had claims to improve your health and beauty. But then all of a sudden there was another what if, and the idea of ingestible beauty or Nutracosmetics was born. Have you all heard about Nutracosmetics? Is that a term you're familiar with? Okay, it's really just starting to emerge. It's really considered right now one of the most innovative markets today, evolving from nutraceuticals and cosmeceuticals. So we took the food that was intended to heal us, not the tablets, and we took the creams and lotions that were intended to heal us, and the concept is now being blended together to create Nutracosmetics. The first Nutracosmetics Summit was held last year in Las Vegas, and I attended that conference. Nutracosmetics was really defined as it's intended to support your healthy hair, nail and skin, eyes, and general visible signs of aging. It was once only women over 40 that was worried about the signs of aging, but today we're talking to young girls in their 20s that are worried about the signs of aging. How do they work? It really is a product that is consumed internally that can work synergistically by applying it topically. Okay? So, one example that I'm sure all of you will relate to right away is olive oil. Olive oil is something that's been used for over 3,500 years in European markets, right? Internally, it'll lower the cholesterol, it reduces circulatory and nervous disorders, it treats constipation, has antioxidant, anti-cancer properties. However, when it's used on the skin, it's an emollient, it soothes the itching, it moisturizes the skin, hair, and scalp, and encourages healing. So when you consume it and you apply it to our largest organ, being our skin, the benefits are multiplied greater than 1 + 1 = 2. That makes sense? So Japan was really the first adopter of Nutracosmetics, and they still remain the leader in the world with this concept of beauty from within. Europe is close behind them. We're just learning the word over here in America. We're just starting to get there. As I said, the first summit was in Las Vegas last year, and that was raw material providers coming together with formulators, packagers, and marketers. One of the keynote speakers at that conference was actually Horst Rottenbacher, and I always butcher his last name, but you know who he is. He's the founder of Aveda, and he's also the founder now of Intelligent Nutrients. And he presented the concept of the first USDA food-grade skincare concept. And everyone agreed that the task of bringing packaged products to the market is a challenging one, for sure. The U.S. consumers have begun to grasp the idea somewhat, according to the market analysts, and that in some sectors we are starting to come to this idea, and they've actually estimated that market to be $2.5 billion by 2012. So there's definitely a huge, huge market that's been identified out there, but there is no real leader in that sector. Nobody has really stepped up. Before I go through why, I hate to read screens to people because I know you can all read, so why don't you just look at this carefully before I go on to the next and just let that kind of sink in just a little bit. You know, the nutraceutical is really the plant, not the supplement. It's the real plant. And this idea isn't a really new idea. We heard let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food by Hippocrates in 377 before Christ. The skin, of course, is our largest organ and absorbs anywhere, depending on what type of product it is, anywhere between 64 and 100% of whatever you put on your skin is absorbed directly into your blood. It depends on what the ingredients are, what that percentage is, and where you're using it. If it's something you use on your lips, under your arms, other sensitive areas, it's 100%. If it's fragrance, it's 100%. And it goes down to the lowest level, you're going to get a 64%. So kind of the takeaway message for me with that is if you don't want to eat it, don't put it on your skin, because you are eating it. It's going into your body. So why isn't there a company that's taking the lead with this, with this out there? Maybe because Nutracosmetics, or beauty from within, is such a very simple, basic concept. It's more about lifestyle than about how much you can afford to spend on a serum. Maybe it's because Mother Nature in her whole is not something that goes into a bottle very easily. Maybe it's because once we focus on this process and the outcome, we can see that the path to health and beauty is really available to virtually everyone living in America at a very low cost. Maybe it's because the financial model just doesn't work for the large cosmetic companies. I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know, what is clear for sure, is that most of the large companies, from Monsanto down to Johnson & Johnson, have already filed trademarks for products that are Nutracosmetics. And several of their marketers are already working on global marketing plans. However, our FDA remains very suspicious that what we put in our body and on our skin actually affects our health and beauty. Really? They do. and therefore will not support the marketing claims, which makes it very difficult to then market Nutracosmetics in this country. America wants third-party growth. We like to have a third party, particularly a government agency. I don't know why, but we do. We want to see that USDA, the FDA, something stamped on things that makes us feel better. Whereas Japan and Europe, well, they just know, what they've always known for centuries, and they don't need any regulatory agency to tell them that it's okay or the smart thing to do. However, what Europe and Japan are doing is working on developing their definitions, primarily to protect their trusting market from imported products, probably. So let's look at what some of the ingredients are that go into these things. You look at that list, this is only 12 of them. There are hundreds of them. I picked these are the ones that we see on most of the labels out there, on a lot of the labels. And you can see how they work in your body. Everybody can see that, right? And how they work, and how some things work in many ways and different ways, and why they would choose these ingredients to add to our chemical-based products. Now, taking some of these extracts can be done and preserved with a combination of natural and even organic ingredients. That can be done, and we have examples of products like that on the floor here at this show. So please seek out those types of companies when you're looking around and ask those questions. However, most manufacturers will use off-the-shelf synthetic preservation systems. And the real value of the plant or herb that they want to put in that product may or may not remain active in that, as an active ingredient in that product by the time you're actually using it. I think intuitively we all know whatever we use, the closer to the freshest whole it is going to be our best choice. Here's some Nutracosmetics, and you aren't using that term in your spa today. You may not be calling it, but you may be using Nutracosmetics and not know it. If you are applying these ingredients and using them on their skin, that is the concept of Nutracosmetic. Let's take green tea as an example. Ingested, you all know the vast benefits, but you may not know that when it's used on your skin, the polyphenols and polysaccharides increase the moisture absorption and retention. The caffeine and tannins increase the firmness on the skin's appearance, smooth the fine lines, and reduce the effects of aging skin by stabilizing the collagen and elastin. Used as a nutracosmetic, we get the protection from the free radicals, the reduction of inflammation, and support the immune system, while the amino acid L-theanine promotes mental clarity. Did y'all know that? So it's kind of interesting how what you know so well, that green tea internally is really good for us, you don't know that when we use it on the skin, it works that way. That's the same for lots of these ingredients, okay? I don't know all these other ingredients as well. I wrote about what avocado does for you in the Nutraceutical article that's in this month's late novels. You can read about that, but I mean, these aren't new things. You see the lure of chocolate in things all the time, and wine things. So I think you get the idea. So the question really is one for you to answer. Upon the dawning of this conceptual age, where so many will be seeking creative healers, what path will you choose? How can you best serve, and how will you choose to succeed? Daniel Pink says we must perform work that overseas knowledge workers cannot do cheaper, the computers cannot do faster, and that satisfies our aesthetic, emotional, and spiritual demands of this prosperous time. So what do you think? Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food? Was that Hippocrates guy right? You have the wisdom. All of you in this room are professionals, and you have the wisdom. You already know. So don't be afraid to ask what if. Look back to your own culture and pluck the pearls of wisdom from your past. You're in a field that's perfectly positioned to prosper in this conceptual age. Now, I'm not saying one way or the other. What I'm saying is this is the conceptual age, and think about it. You know, don't just approach it the way you've always done it. You all know intuitively and through your education way more than you know. And I think I think we're at the time now when creative healers are so needed in this world that for you to start using that knowledge and just go out of your box and don't be afraid. Ask what if. I mean, you know the answers, and the answers you don't know, the what ifs are going to lead you down the path to know those answers, right? I mean, that's, from my perspective, I think that's kind of where we're really at with the whole Nutracosmetics. Well, I would like to thank each and every one of you for the important work you do. It makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. I hope that you will continue to soar and help heal the world one treatment at a time. Thank you for joining me today.